So when I'm opening up a bottle of wine, very often I think about community. I think about this idea that like no one person makes wine, that there are so many people involved, whether it be the people who planted the vines to begin with, the vineyard manager, the growers, the pickers who take the fruit off the vines, before it even gets to the winemaker. Hundreds of people in some cases have actually affected the wine. I also think about Elvis. I think about this idea that in July of 1953, Elvis gets into his truck. He drives out from Tupelo, Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee. And there he's going to record 2 songs. And these 2 recordings will be 2 of the most famous recordings in history. Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Records, sees Elvis, and he has this idea. He has this idea that he's going to be able to take the black music he's heard in the honky-tonks, put him to a white voice, and maybe he's going to sell a whole lot of records as a result. He does. Elvis becomes a superstar. Elvis achieves a sense of celebrity that has never been achieved before. Elvis would eventually actually become a symbol of America. He would be a symbol of freedom, of independence, and of justice. As people are smuggling items across the Berlin Wall like food and jeans, they're also smuggling Elvis records. In fact, eventually owning an Elvis record would become a political act. And all because 2 people met on a hot summer day in 1953. And all that's good and fine, except that it never happened. When Elvis came to Sun Records, Sam wasn't there. He was in another county recording an old gospel band. No, in fact, it was Sam's assistant, Marion Keisker. And it was Marion who would actually record one of the most famous recordings ever recorded. And she sent him on his way. A couple months later, as Sam was looking through these recordings, he sees an album that he doesn't recognize, and he asks Marion about it. And it's Marion who decides, hey, this is the guy you need to bring in. Sam, this is the guy you need to sign to your label. So they bring Elvis in for an audition. And he blows it. He's awful. He can't sing. He can't play. He's just atrocious. And again, they send him on his way. And for one really specific reason. Elvis isn't Elvis yet. At Marion's insistence, they bring him back in a few months later. And as he plays a couple of tunes, Sam Phillips sees something in Elvis this time. And he decides to sign him to his label. And he makes Scotty Moore, and we'll talk more about Scotty Moore some other time, his guitarist, his first manager. And then they go to work. They start practicing. He sends them on... They play every honky-tonk in the South. The idea is that Elvis wasn't more or less born as he was made, and it took a lot of people to do it. And it's a lot like wine. Because sometimes we're Elvis, sometimes we're the talent. Sometimes we're Sam, sometimes we're the producer, the guy who's going to mold that talent into something greater than it originally started off as. The real interesting thing is that we are all Marion. It was Marion's assistant. She could have been doing her job like every other person, but that one moment when she told her boss, no, you're wrong, this is the guy. In that one moment, she made history. Never even knew it at the time. Here's to you, Marion. We're drinking a really nice Grenache from our friends over at Bokish Vineyards out of Lodi. You're going to love it. Cheers.